Hello, my microphone. So this is my third video, and I'm so sorry it took so long to do my third video, but I wanted it to be something real. You know, all the videos I do, I want it to be out of experience. And today I'm gonna be interviewing one of my best friends, Joshua. Say hi.
Hello.
And I'm gonna be interviewing him on his testimony and what he has been through and how did he find God. And I want to call this video Unconditional Love Doesn't Always Seem Perfect.
Oh.
So, you ready?
Perfect. Yeah. That's
good. So, I wrote some questions down. So, I know that you are a man of faith. I know that God is doing amazing things in your life. But let's rewind. Let's go back before you even found God. Like before you even heard of God, before you started going to church, before all of this. So question number one is, what was your condition before you found God?
Well, before I found God, I was actually living the life, as we say.
The life.
Living the life.
Okay.
You know, I was traveling at such a young age. I was 22. I'm
How old
25
are you
now. 25 now.
Okay.
I was 22. I was in a startup business.
Okay.
Where we was promoting some packages, like travel packages, so it allowed me to travel every 3 months. So I was traveling every 3 months, and at that time I was single. So back then I was a man who I was around a lot of females, and that was just my lifestyle. Like I would go to trips, I would travel, I was pool parties, rooftop pool parties in like Houston. You get the picture. So I was actually very good. I was making money. I was making a lot of money, and I mean, God was there. Like my mom was a youth pastor.
So your mom was a pastor, youth pastor, and you was out doing...
I was out doing what I wanted to do. And my mom preached to me all the time, and I just didn't want to hear it. Because I was just...
you was distracted with everything going on in your life.
Not distracted, I was naive. I was just, I felt like I was too cool. And I was like, Ma, just keep that to you. Okay. Like, I'm good. Right. I'm good.
Okay, so you didn't feel like you was missing anything?
No. I felt like I had everything.
All right. So number two, how did you find God?
How did I find God?
And like in the midst of all of this, like the traveling, the females, like how did you find God? Or how did God find you?
God found, well...
This is supposed to be my microphone. I'm here like...
It was just a clash. Me and God, like it was just like... God came and I met him halfway. How did that happen?
Yes.
As you guys can see, I have a Flash shirt on. And I wore this for a reason, because this is actually, if you guys know, Flash is it's a superhero that he runs very fast. And that's exactly how my life was. My life was running so fast. And in the process of me finding God, in the process of me finding God, everything was happening, like just happening in the Flash. Right. I was with my mom, I was with my daughter's mom. I have 2 kids, guys. I was with my daughter's mom. She left me. And in the midst of that, I was running my business. My business was falling apart. I was losing sight of my family, my kids. I was losing the relationship with my kids. My kids barely knew me. Wow. My daughter's mom left me, and then my mom died. And that all happened in 1 month. Wow. So that's exactly why I say I wear this shirt today to do this video to reflect on it. Right. Because my life was a flash when God was reaching out to me. Right. See, God was calling me when I was young, when I was 17, 19, right? And I didn't listen. I was just naive. And then my mom passed away, and that's when I found God.
Wow. Okay, and how did you feel?
How did I feel when God came to me? I blamed him. I blame God because I always said, my mom always preached to me saying that God is a God of love. Right. And I was in the situation where I'm like, God, if you were a God of love, why did you snatch away the person that I love the most? The person who I spoke to who I did everything with. Like, it came to a point where my mom was my best friend. That when I was having girl problems, I would run to my mom, and my mom would help me spiritually, which I didn't like it because she would always quote verses from the Bible.
Right, like this is happening for real, Mom.
Yeah, like, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that. But
yeah.
how I felt resentment towards God. I was telling God, if you were a God of love, why did you allow this? And I felt hurt. I felt lonely. I felt lonely, and that led me to want to commit suicide. It led me to want to commit suicide, and that's exactly when I knew God was real. Because I knew God existed, but I never knew that God's power really existed, was really real.
So explain that part.
So
how did you see like that the power of God was real? Like, so, how did that happen for you?
The reason why I'm in this walk now is because that the time that I actually had an encounter where God just literally, now I have you cornered. Yeah. You know? And I'm just there like, I wanted to commit suicide. The time that my mom passed away, it was like 2 weeks after, and I was in my room, and I was just, a lot of thoughts was just coming to mind, like, kill yourself. Wow. You have no value. You have no reason to be in this earth. You lost everything. Right. And my kids, I had my kids, and not even my kids was changing my mind. But I had a friend, a close friend of ours, and I knew her in the past, and we would always go, we would always go to the hookah bar, and we would always smoke hookah. And she posted up a post saying that God has a plan with you. Right. And I found that so weird because I know her going to the hookah bar, and now she's posting things up of faith. And I'm just like, what's going on? Yeah,
like it was just different. It was different from what she was posting previously.
That post, it took me to a time where I was 19 years old. So wait,
so you saw this post while you was getting
I was in the point
of
committing suicide. I was going to take a knife. I had the knife, and I was going to cut my wrist.
Okay, so you was about to commit suicide, and you checked your phone before.
The last time, I checked my phone for the last time. I was just gonna commit suicide. I wasn't gonna hit nobody up. Right. Like, my dad was literally gonna come in and see me on that floor. Right. That was just my mindset. I just wanted to take the pain away. Right. So when I checked my phone for the last time. I was like this, knife here, and the phone here. Wow. And then I seen God has a plan with you. For you. God has a plan for you. And it took me back to when I was 19 years old, where I had a truck for a carriage. And why I say a truck for a carriage? Because it had 3 wheels. It had 3 wheels. Oh my God, I had one of those. Yeah, this was when I was with my son's mom. Yes, I had two baby moms. Yeah. And this is the life that I was living. This is the life that I was living. And I thought that I was the man. So we walked into the church. And I went to church that one day because I wanted to please my mom. And I knew it was going to make her happy. So I went to the church, and the church wasn't that far. So I was like, okay, I can make it. It was like right across the street from me. Yeah. So I went, and I sat down in the back. Right. And something with your truck carriage. Yeah, with the truck, and that's the reason why I sat in the back, because something that my mom always told me, that when you go into church, the enemy loves to sit in the back, because he loves to observe. I never understood that, so I didn't want to be that person as like the devil. I don't want to sit back there. But that was just what I was taught while I was growing up. But I sat back there because the carriage did not fit through the aisle, and there was a lot of people in there already. So I sat in the back, and I was with my mom, with my son's mom. Like in the way. Yeah, and my son was like 3 months. And it was like almost at the end of the service, and the preacher was in front, right? And I was back there, and I'm like, okay, we came here, and it's about to be done. My mom smiled at me. Yeah. Everything is good. Right. But then the preacher, he pointed in my direction, and I didn't think that he was talking to me. Right. Because there was somebody taller than me in front of me. Right. So then he was like, no, you, young one. Wow. And then everybody looked back. And then I was like, he was like, yes, you, come here. And I didn't want to go because I had so much pride. I was a person who I was like, don't talk to me if I don't know you.
Yeah, yeah.
But something did not let me stay there. I had to go.
Right, you had to like obey.
So when I went, we left the baby in the carriage. There was something that we had to go. The baby was already sleeping inside the carriage. So I went up.
So this was something more than you.
Yeah, like it was just something that I couldn't control. Cause me back then, I was the tough one.
Yeah.
But the quiet tough one.
Yeah.
Right? I had to go. And then when I went, he told me exactly what the post said. God has a plan for you.
Wow.
God has a plan for you, but you have to allow him to work within your life.
Right.
And
that's my baby.
So that when I read that post when I was 22, it brought me to when I was 19, that moment. And it scared me because that man told me everything that I was going through that day.
Right.
That still didn't move me.
Right.
I thought that he was just...
Well, my mom probably told me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like... after that, I looked at my mom and I was like, see, this is why I don't like going to church. Because y'all be trying to make me think things. Y'all be trying to make me believe things.
Yeah, yeah.
And
nah,
like it's not working. Yeah, like you probably knew him that, and I didn't even know him. So, long story short, that's exactly what happened. When I seen that, it brought me. It was just again a flash of memories.
Right. That
was just playing back, and I was just like, wow. And I dropped the knife because I started crying, and I remember that I hit up, you know, my friend and our friend. I hit her up on social media. I sent her a text and I'm like, what church do you go to? Because I knew she was going to church because she put that up. Right. I knew she had something to do with God.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know what was going on in her life, but I was like, what church do you go to? She sent me. And when I went, I got lost. Right. But I made it. And when I made it, it was just like a load that just went off. Right. It just, boom. And I was crying that whole service.
Wow.
I was crying that whole service because I felt like nothing existed after that. The pain was temporarily gone. Why I say it was temporarily gone? Because it was just temporarily gone. And that night I went home and I prayed, and this was my prayer. This is exactly what was my prayer.
Share your prayer with us.
Because like a lot of people think that prayer is just hallelujah, hallelujah,
and that's
hallelujah.
Exactly what I want you to share, because it's like, I feel that when we first start seeking God, one of the things I've always hear is I don't know how to pray. Yeah,
that's exactly what I did. So I was like, this was my prayer. God, I don't know how to pray.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. Listen, if you real, what I'm feeling, I need you to take it away. Right. Because I can't with myself.
Yeah, you couldn't be.
I lost everything that I knew. And this pain is killing me, literally, inside. It's taking over my mind. It's taking over everything that I do. And it was just a hole in my heart that does not close. I need you to take this away.
Right.
So if you real, do that. If you do that, I'm here until you come, until you depart me from this earth.
Right.
3 is, that's exactly why I'm here.
Right. So what I see here in this conversation, that not only were you speaking to God, you know, through prayer, but you did a pact with him.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
Because you unintentionally said that if you do this, then I will serve you.
Because that was because I didn't believe in his, like.
So you was kind of like testing God in a way.
Yeah.
With your situation.
Yep.
In your ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay, so the next question I have for you is, did everything get better as soon as you found God?
No, it did not.
Okay.
But it did not get better. But here's what I understood when I found God. I found peace. I was able to rest. Because here's why I said everything did not get better. Because everything that I thought was good before God, I started seeing it as something that needs to be worked on.
Right. Right.
You understand? So it was like
you were seeing much more clear.
I was seeing clearer. It's like you know, like when race horses, they put like the blindfold so they can just have like a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what was my eyesight in the world. My tunnel vision was money, success, which is not bad.
Right.
It's not bad, but
it was consuming you.
It was consuming me, and because I had tunnel vision, I wasn't seeing what was around the money. I wasn't seeing what was around that success.
Which was your kids, your mother,
exactly.
Your family.
So that tunneled me. So when I found God, God was allowing me to see these things that I need to work on.
Right.
So I felt like I was so overwhelmed because it was like problem after problem after problem after problem.
And these problems, what I see here is that these problems didn't come because you started seeking God.
It was already there.
It was already there,
yes.
but you couldn't see that they were there because you was too distracted.
And that's exactly what happened.
So God kind of like took the blindfold, and here you are like kind of going deeper into the things that were already there. That you was probably just pushing to the side. Oh, I'll take care of this tomorrow, or this doesn't matter, this is not important.
Exactly. So it was like, you know how when we try to like lose weight, and
I ain't never tried.
Right, so
it never works out for
when we when we try to have like a healthy lifestyle, we go to the gym, but we continue to eat the same way, not knowing that that's exactly the cause of us not getting the way that we want to get to. So that's exactly what was my lifestyle. I was doing the right things. I wasn't selling drugs. I wasn't selling drugs. I wasn't, doing the things that people considered bad. I was going to school. I was working. I was overworking myself. I wanted to start my own business. I was doing these things.
Right.
But there's something that's called a detox. Right? You have to detox your body first. Then you have to start eating healthy. But my thing was I was going to the gym, right? I was working out. But I wasn't eating healthy, not knowing that that was the cause. So that's exactly what it was.
Right.
In the past, before God, I was doing the right things. But with God, He allowed me to understand the wrong things that I was doing.
That you thought were right.
That I thought was right. And gave me an opportunity to make the decision to fix it.
The decision, I like that. Can you explain that?
A decision is something that it has to come from you. Because God, what I understood in 3 years, that God does not pressure you to do anything. It has to come from you. If you want change, you have to decide to change. And when you decide to change, He transforms you. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't transform yourself.
So what you're saying that in the midst of you finding God, even though you felt like you found God, even though you had a peace, you felt like you still had to decide whether you really wanted to walk with God.
Yes.
And in the midst of you deciding to walk with God was making decisions of change with God, which led to a transformation because it wasn't on your own or with your strength. It was you leaning on God, but also moving forward in the things that He was changing, and the things that He was showing you that weren't right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Can you give an example of one thing after you found God that you felt maybe at that moment? Because I'm pretty sure that now you can see why things happened. But just rewind, go back to that moment, and can you state one example of something that did not go right after you found God?
Something that did not go right when I found God was God leaving me jobless for a whole year.
Okay, so that's good. Explain that.
So, this is something that I didn't understand because I was working hard.
Right.
And I was, I never missed service. That's something that I never allowed myself to do. I don't care how tired I was. I don't care if I slept for 2 hours and I had to work the next day, I would still make it to church.
Right.
And that was something that I decided to do. And it was a commitment that I made with God. I would never, ever stay home from, just because I'm tired. I have to be in a hospital bed. And that hospital bed better not have wheels. Because if it has wheels and I could roll myself to church, I will. It was so blind that I was saying I have to make more money because I have to support my kids. Mind you, I wasn't doing that.
You wasn't even
so
supporting.
I wasn't. Not that I wasn't supporting my kids. The extra money that I was making, that was for myself.
Yeah, you was just spending it.
And so I would work. I would go to church. I would not miss a service. I would give my tithes. I would give my offerings. But then when I would go home, I would pray. So I would pray for like 2.5 minutes. And my prayer was, God, you know my situation.
Excuses.
Please forgive me. I've been working hard. You know that I gotta make money because I gotta support my kids.
Yo, I've been
I gotta
through
support
that.
myself. You know, and please forgive me. So that prayer was 2.5 minutes every day now. So I'm
while
Christian.
still giving your tithe,
Wow.
while still giving your offerings, while still not missing one service, but when
While
you
still
was
staying
outside of
firm,
church, it was like, God, you know.
So he took away my job. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was using that as an excuse. So then, when I lost my job, that I sat him, like, I was on my bed, and then I'm like, God, now what?
And now you're jobless.
And I'm like, now what? Now, how am I supposed to support myself now? I have 2 kids. Like, I was panicking. And I heard this loud and clear, and I thought I was going crazy. Now what's your excuse?
Wow. Now what's your excuse?
And I found out that I was making excuses. And those excuses, this is how... And I don't like to be too cliche because, you know, yeah, we are Christian and yeah, but I can't help to speak spiritual talk, you know? So it's just, this is how dirty the enemy is. He lets you see a certain situation and he lets you create things in your mind so you could believe it yourself. So I was creating that I needed to work.
And you was believing that you really had no time to speak to God.
Exactly. So that's exactly what happened. So God took away my job so I could understand that I was making an excuse, that it wasn't something that I was really living. I was creating what I was living. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was creating the situation and it wasn't the situation. I was creating a situation that was never there. Right? And deception is believing something that's not true.
That doesn't exist.
It does not exist. So I was living in deception. Right? But he was like, this is exactly when God came through. Again. I wasn't working for a whole year. Almost a whole year. It was like 10 months. 10 and a half to 11 months.
I remember,
And that still did not knock off me going to church. Right? And here's what happened though. My kids ate. My kids' clothes was clean. I ate. My clothes were clean. Yeah, I had to walk to church about an hour
in the snow, in the rain. You would
walking up.
Be there.
My kids was in carriage.
I remember.
My son was walking with me. There was times where I couldn't take my son because it was so cold and it was so
and it would be
windy.
too much for him to walk.
So I would leave him with his mom, but I would take my daughter in the carriage because she was cozy. She had the plastic, but I didn't have no plastic over me. But this is what I had to do. I had to show God that I was still willing, even though that I didn't have what I wanted. And this is when I understood that I brought this upon myself. And sometimes I say we, and I include myself.
Include me in there too.
We put ourselves in situations without even knowing. But this is exactly why I say that, yes, things became hard when I became Christian and I accepted God and I decided to walk this walk. And it became so hard, but it was just like, I felt peace. I felt like, thank you, God, for what you're putting me through, because it's helping me change the person that I was in the past. Because from not being a father, it became to my son telling me that I'm the best dad in the world, and that that was my success that I wanted to reach, but I couldn't reach that because I didn't have the guidance. I didn't allow God to guide me.
So hold on. But let me grab my microphone. So what I see here is that you spoke about your condition before coming into the walks of God, like, you know, having an encounter with God, right? Or finding God, as many people would say. But here I see two things. See, you was talking about that your condition before you found God was you was distracted. And the things you thought was the right things. You was traveling, you had the females, you was out clubbing, drinking, and all these other things, right? And even though you was doing this and this was your condition, in the midst of all of these things happening, you couldn't see the reality around you. Mm-hmm. It was even your mom living with your mother, having her speak to you about God, having her invite you to church so many times, you was still not able to see around you. But here I see something that when you were at a moment where you felt like you lost everything and you was about to give up on life, not mattering your condition, God's unconditional love showed up. Right? Mm-hmm. And I love the word unconditional, because here I see that it didn't matter the condition you were in. His love is unconditional, right? Mm-hmm. And so right when you were about to take your life away, even though you rejected the invitation to church, so many times His love showed up through that phone. Maybe, you know, I always say, like, the things of God are not a coincidence. And I believe that the fact you grabbed your phone before you was going to take that knife and just end your life, and you saw that post, was God. I believe that God put that in that person to post that, to give you, you know, that sign that He's still with you, to give you the evidence that He still loves you, even though you rejected Him so many times, even though you were so blind, even though you were so distracted. God was just like, but my love is unconditional, and it goes over the condition that you are in. And I love that, because how do you tell somebody, like, how would you explain to somebody, because you went through this, that you losing your job or God leaving you jobless is His way of telling Him that He loves you? Like, how do you explain that? How would you explain that?
How would I explain that? It's not about what you have. Like, I understood it's not about what you have, but understanding the reasons for things. Right. Because without understanding, you're blind. It's like you're just like blind. It's basically having a body with no sight. How can you explain what something looks like if you have no sight? So that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if I would have lost my job in the world, and when I say the world, where we think that life is perfect, right? Without Jesus, without His guidance, I would not be able to explain losing my job, and I wouldn't know how to react. I would have did bad things. I would have went and started scamming. I would have started doing drugs, selling drugs, doing things that I was, you know, putting myself in uncomfortable situations. Right. But losing,
because of desperate measures.
Yes, and like losing my job, having God, it was just like God was showing me something. It was just like a movie, like a suspense movie, like a spontaneous movie where you don't know, well, wait, but why did that happen? Yeah. And then later down the line, oh my God, remember in the beginning of the movie that this puzzles, it's like a puzzle.
But for you to see and understand what it is that God's trying to do, I see here that you still had to continue to walk without understanding still what He was trying to do by leaving you jobless. I see that you were still continuing to trust Him, because, you know, you're saying that you lost your job and you kind of didn't understand yet what God was trying to show you, but you was able to puzzle it together along the way, meaning that you stood by God.
Yes. And the reason why I stood by God was because God was the only thing I had to stand by. Yeah. Because I was gonna commit suicide. Right. And that scared me. So this is exactly what I said. I'm like, God, if you did this, I know good comes from you. I don't understand what good this is, but maybe down the line I'll understand. So let me just continue. I had no choice but to continue.
Right, because you had nothing to go back to anyways.
And this is exactly what happened. 10 months, 10 and a half months, let's say 11 months down the line, right? That's almost a year.
Yeah.
Can I speak about what happened?
Go ahead.
I received a gift card for my birthday from you and your husband, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And it
oh
was...
my God, yes!
And you know what? I still have that gift card.
Wow.
I still have that gift card on my wall. Like, it's not framed because I haven't found a frame the size of the gift card. But it's there.
Yeah.
And every time I look at that, that was an instrument that God used for me to be at where I'm at now. Now, I'm working for a bank, right? Working 20 hours, but making more money than what I was working 80 hours assistant store manager.
Wow.
So here I saw that God took away, right, to show me a lesson, to teach me something, to teach me that it does not matter what I give you. I want you to always have time for me because I can give you greater things.
Amen, yes.
Right? Focus on me. I already know what you need. Right? And in that moment, I was given that verse. Focus on what's God's and He will focus on what's yours. And I didn't understand that. But when I received that gift card that I went to, it was a gift card for American Eagle.
American Eagle, yeah.
And it turned out that I was working. I worked for American Eagle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You went to buy jeans.
I went to buy jeans.
I remember, yeah.
At American Eagle at Bay Plaza.
With the gift card.
With the gift card. And while I was shopping, not the store manager,
I remember,
but the district manager that he is in charge of the district, meaning different stores, 18 locations of, he looked at me.
While you were shopping?
No,
your gift card.
I went to him and I'm like, sure, which one would you prefer? Because I was looking for like cologne, and I usually wear high-end cologne, like, Versace, YSL, Invictus, those high-end colognes. But because of my situation, I saw how God was humbling me, right? So I had to get $20 cologne. It smelled really good though. So
I remember you brought me so many samples.
Yes. And so I asked the district manager, which one would you prefer? And I saw how he was acting when I was an assistant store manager, right? So I was like, wow, like I know how that feels. And he looked at me and he was like, what are you talking about? I was an assistant store manager for Polo, like 3 stores down, and I know what's that feeling, like you feel like you have to do everything. He was like, are you looking for a job? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm actually am. He was like,
been looking for 10.5 months.
He was like, stay right here, don't move. So I was like, I got all the time in the world because I'm not doing nothing like that. I don't have to be nowhere, right? And it wasn't a day of service, so I was just, he spoke to the store manager. So the store manager's boss spoke for me, for the manager of that store. So I didn't go through an interview process.
Yeah, I remember you.
So I saw how God qualified me.
Right.
I skipped the process.
Just trusting Him.
I didn't even go through training.
Wow.
I just went. They threw me in the lion's den.
Right.
And you
survived.
And I survived. But that was, and then from there, here's exactly how Chase came involved, right? So through American Eagle, through that gift card from American Eagle, I started working at American Eagle. They
finally got a job.
They said that I have to get a direct deposit. And I was like, what happened to checks? No. That's not working right now.
What happened to checks?
That's not working right now.
Yeah.
And that was weird to me. But something that I was always told when I started this walk, when something does not make sense, is because God is working. Right? So I was like, this makes no sense. I was like, but I don't want to go to no bank. I don't want to go because I had a bad experience with Bank of America. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not trying to go through that again.
Yeah.
So they was like, no, you need a direct deposit form because you need to get a bank account. I was like, all right. So there was a Chase Bank down my block.
Right.
So I went into Chase. Boom, 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 right? I applied. I got, you know, I had to $25 to open a Chase account. I didn't have that because I had no money. I had no money. All I had was just the gift card. I'm not gonna try to swipe it and take 25 in the gift card. That does not work.
Yeah.
So here's what the supervisor did, because the supervisor took care of me. He was like,
From Chase.
From Chase.
Okay.
He was like, would you have the money by Friday in there? Yes. So I'm gonna open it for free.
Wow.
You can't do that in the bank.
Yeah.
I work in the bank now, so you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So it just did not make sense. It did not make sense at all. So I was working for American Eagle. I had better administration with my time.
Right.
I was working overtime, yes, but I took my time for God now, right?
Because you learned your lesson.
So when God saw that I learned from my mistake,
Right.
He elevated me.
Promoted you.
He promoted me, not in my job, because I wanted a promotion in my job. I wanted to become a manager for there because retail was all I knew. Right? So I wanted that promotion, and but they was overlooking me. And I'm like, God, I have the skills for it. You know I have the skills for it. What am I doing wrong? Sometimes a no from God is still good. Because He said no to that position. They called me from Chase. The new year happened, right? They called me from Chase because I got hired in the ending of November going to December. I stood in American Eagle for a whole year. When the new year came, the second week, I got called for Chase.
Wow.
And I started in Chase, right?
Wow.
I just made a year this year in Chase. And I'm making more money. I'm making more money in Chase, 20 hours, and I'm making more money at Chase. I have better timing. I'm spending more time with my kids. I'm spending more time at church. I'm dedicating more time to God, and I'm still working. And it's just the process that I had to go through, and this was the understanding that God was giving me. Like He was molding my character, and I feel so great now because like I'm a better man from everything that I was going through.
And what I see here too is that God was showing you how to trust Him.
Yes, yes.
Showing you how to trust Him in many different situations, because I know there's times where we're like, we trust God, right? We trust God and we have everything under control. We have the job, we have everything, we have, you know, our spouse, and then it's just like we lose this, we lose that. And then it's just like we don't remember God. We don't remember that we said we trusted God through everything. And you know, and sometimes, as you said, a no from God is still good, because sometimes, you know, because God can be testing us, or God can be trying to promote us. God can be trying to give us something better. And this is why, like, another thing I see, you know, besides His unconditional love for us through everything, is that we need to learn to trust God. Even in these situations where doors close, even in these situations where we think that something so big can't come out of something so simple. Because I remember giving you that gift card. I was actually walking through the mall, and you know, I was like, what are we gonna get Joshua for his birthday? I remember you wasn't working, and I was like, we was walking through by American Eagle, and I was like, you know what? Let's go in here. My husband's like, but does he even wear American Eagle? I'm like, I don't know. Like, let's just go in American Eagle. And I just felt like, I don't know why, I felt like so determined. Like, I wanted to get you something from American Eagle, but I didn't know what. So then my husband is like, why don't we just let him get whatever he wants? So let's get him a gift card. And I was like, okay, so let's go towards the front, because that's where the gift cards are. And I remember that they had many different like styles, right? Many different gift cards, and there was a gift card that had jeans on them. And playing around, my husband said, you know what, let's get him this gift card, and let's declare that in the name of Jesus, just as this gift card has pants, that he is going to put on the new pants to a new position in his life. And I was just like, you know, like, I believed it. I was like, you know what? Like, I believe that by faith, that in the name of Jesus, as soon as we give him that gift card, he's going to be receiving the key to his next promotion.
exactly what it was.
And you didn't know that.
No.
You didn't know that. And we really did that. And it was so funny because we were doing that right in the middle of American Eagle, and the cashier was laughing. She was just like you know, like she was just smiling and she was just shaking her head. But it's so crazy how God works, because from a gift card he opened up a door, and from that door he opened up another door. And this is why I love God, you know. And more than loving him, this is why I love trusting him, even when in my mind things don't seem right. Because just as you, I can testify that it has been in those moments where God has done the biggest things in my life, when he has made something out of absolutely nothing in my life. It has been in those moments of, what are you doing? Of those moments where I don't understand why this is happening. In those moments where I'm like, but why me? You know? And in those moments sometimes when we're like, why me? Why am I jobless? Why can't I do this? Why I don't have that? Is where God is probably saying, because I love you. Wow. See, the condition you're in is because of my unconditional love. Because one thing that I've learned from God through my experience and through your testimony is that your appearance, your quality, your experience, your knowledge, your understanding, or who you even are at the moment does not define God's love for you. Why I say this? Because you was not giving God the time that he deserved. He didn't turn his back on you.
Yeah.
He looked for a way. And even though, you know, it wasn't the way you wanted or expected, God said, I love you so much that if I have to take away the thing that's distracting you from me, I'm going to do it. But it be in times like this where we're so desperate. As you said, sometimes without God, we become so desperate and we don't understand that God is just like trying to call our attention, you know, trying to pull us closer. And wow, you've come such a long way.
Yeah.
And I know that because I remember, like, we really used to go out, like, to the hookah bar, to, like, you know, and all of this stuff. And look, like, I would have never imagined this moment, like, us serving God. You worshiping. Yeah. He worships. He sings for God. He has an amazing voice. He learned to play the piano. Yes, you do.
God,
he's gonna sing for us today, right?
Yeah.
He plays the
bass guitar.
To me, it looks like a guitar,
yeah.
But the bass guitar. So, you know, and now he knows the difference between a guitar and a bass guitar. And God is just amazing. Like, this video, I didn't know what to do for my third video. And I know many people kept telling me, like, you have to keep going because these videos are uplifting. But you want to know something? I don't want these videos to be fake. I don't want them to be made up. Like, I want this to be so real. And my testimony was real. His testimony is real. And even though, like, we're Christian and we're serving God, we go through our struggles. It has cost us a price. Sacrifice to believe in God even when we have nothing else to believe in. Sacrifice to believe in God when we have nothing left, where everyone turns their back on you, where you feel like all the doors are closed. You know what it feels like to look for a job for 10.5 months? And for nobody to say, oh, here, a part-time, or yeah, here's a job, or not even get a call, looking at your phone every day, wondering, when am I gonna get a call?
And my resume was really big. Like,
I remember. If
you were looking at my resume,
it was like very good.
It's a resume where, and I don't like to boast or brag, but I have a lot. Like, I had a lot of skills. Like, I had a lot of skills when it came to, like, you know, inventory, like retail management. Yeah. You know, and that. Listen, when God wants to show something, when he wants to show you something,
he would make you invisible.
That's exactly what he would do. He would close all doors. It doesn't matter what qualifications you have. It doesn't matter what degree, what masters. It doesn't matter what you can have a resume right here in front of the hiring manager's face, and you will not be seen until God allows you, until you understand the reason why you in the season that you.
And that's another thing. I like how you said understand the season that you're in, because many times, like, and I'm gonna say this by experience, like, I've repeated a season for so long. going through the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm just like, before I was just complaining, till I got to a point where I was just like, God, where am I failing you? Where am I, where am I going wrong? And it was in that moment where we actually stopped complaining so much, stopped seeking other advice, and turn to God, that He actually responds to you. And no, sometimes God is not going to talk to you right in your ears, so literal, no, but He's going to open up a door. He's going to put something in your mind. He's going to put something in your heart. The things you didn't understand are going to become clear to you then. And it was in those moments of not understanding something that I learned to trust God the most. And to not make this any longer, what did your process teach you? Even though we kind of like spoke about that, but what did your process teach you? And I want you to make it short and sweet, like our pastor says.
2 things: patience and understanding.
Patience and understanding. Okay.
And I just want to leave something with you guys. Like, the reason why I say patience is because a lot of us, we are, me personally, I'm actually going to share this with you guys. Like, I've been told a lot of things, that God has so much great things with me, and because I don't see it with my own eyes, it's like, I want things to happen on my time.
Right. And
when things happen on your time, things gets destroyed very fast.
Yeah.
In a flash, right? So,
in a flash.
And it can lead you to roads where you don't belong. It could lead you to trip over. This is exactly what it does. Imagine you in a room, a dark room, and there's like a lot of walls and there's no light at the end of the tunnel because you decided to walk into a room where you wasn't supposed to walk in, and now you're bumping into things.
Everywhere.
But you can't see.
Hitting yourself super hard.
So my thing is patience. Patience. Wait on God. Wait on God. It doesn't matter if you've seen the opposite. Like, we gotta look above all things.
Have faith, yeah.
All things. And when you're going through things, it could be the worst things in the world. Give thanks. I'm gonna tell you like this. You see this? I look at this as like a scar, right? The reason why I say a scar, because a scar happens, it comes from a wound, right? And that wound, it becomes, when it heals up, it doesn't go back as regular flesh. It turns into a scar. And what's a scar? A scar is a memory. A scar is experience that you went through. Every time you look at it, I still remember the tattoo place that I tattooed on myself. The person that was there, the conversation that we had, how the person looked.
How you were living your life.
Exactly, like it becomes a memory. But those scars becomes wisdom. And what's wisdom? Wisdom is the quality of experience
yes.
and knowledge.
Yes.
Knowledge is just information that you it's just information that you just like absorb. Right? That's knowledge. A ton of information that you are actually available to like receive. Right. You're receptive to information, and then experience.
Like things you're storing.
Yes, and experience is something that you go through. So all the scars teaches you something. Right. And the reason why I'm with a short sleeve shirt is to let you guys know that I myself was the same person that everybody else is. A lot of people don't feel qualified because they have tattoos, because they speak a certain way, because they dress a certain way.
Yep.
Being Christian is a lifestyle, not a religious lifestyle. Right. And a lot of people, I used to judge Christians because I used to get judged. A lot of people, they get hurt because they get judged by people in the churches. But just understand, this is a relationship. I myself, my best friend, which she became my sister, like my friends from the past, which I thought they was gonna be by my side, they're not there. People who I didn't even think was gonna be my friends are family now. Like, their kids are being raised around us. Yeah, so I just wanted to leave that with you guys. And again, I have a song for you guys.
Yes, I was about to say, don't you think you're about to wrap this up?
And I wrote it down on my phone because, like, this is, I did this coming over here. And I just want to share with you guys. It's called Proceso. God had to permit some things so that I know that He is the one that provides. God had to allow diseases so that I know that He is my healer. I know I parted away from you because everything was going so good. And now I give thanks to my process because they brought me closer to you. In the process, I understood, even though I felt lonely, you were right there with me. And I thought that I was gonna die, but you showed up when I needed you most. In my process. So I share this song with you guys, and again, like I don't share my testimony to receive any pity, any sympathy. I share it because I know that there's people out there going through the same thing that I went through, looking for a solution, looking for a way to get past it. And because I went through it and I was giving the strength to actually go through it, because losing my mom is still recent to me. Like, you know, like Mother's Day, when Mother's Day comes around, you know, it gets emotional. But you know how I know that God is real and that His power is real? Because the pain that I had. So this is how I know God is real. The pain that was once there is there no longer. Because when Mother's Day used to come around, when my mom's birthday used to come around, I used to remember the moments that I used to spend with her, and I used to cry. But now those memories lift me up. Why I say it lifts me up? Because when my mom used to try to preach to me and I was naive, I thank God for all those moments now, because look where I'm at now. I was once a deadbeat father, and now I'm one of the best fathers in the world, quote unquote, my son, who told me. And I just thank God for like everything that He's put me through, because through everything, like, it's brought me to a greater, you know, stage, place, a greater level. And you know, life. Yeah. It says in the Bible, and again, like, I don't really like to just speak spiritual, but it's just in me. 3 years in church, I mean, imagine what it could do to you. So it says in the Bible that we have to glorify our tribulations, because our tribulations, it produces patience, it produces perseverance, it produces a character where God, you know, where, like, you know, a character that's in you that you don't see.
So we're gonna end this video right here. We're gonna thank Joshua. Thank you for, you know, actually being a part of this and allowing for me to interview you and sharing your story with us and everyone else that watches. I hope I have this microphone, pero yo no lo uso. It's like down here. You know, I hope that whoever's watching, you know, is touched, is uplifted, is impacted. Subscribe for more videos, and here we're gonna be, you know, just keep sharing more of our testimonies and life experiences with you guys. So this is basically, you know, following up with someone who has been through so much and is serving God now and is trusting God and is living by faith, holding the hand of Jesus without letting go.